Good evening and welcome to News Hour. I am Kojo Qwafor. Coming up in tonight's edition of News Hour, the Ministry of Health wants the public not to eat the rotten chicken that were dumped at the Bome site. Chief Executive Officer of Orange Mobile Company assures the Minister of Communications that his company will retain workers of Airtel. And only 52 out of the 193 agricultural business centers are viable for investments. All the stories and more, including your business and sports news, lined up in tonight's edition of News Hour. Residents of Baibue Road and its environs have raided the Bome dump site by Ferry Junction to scavenge for rotten chickens that were to be destroyed by the Ministry of Health. The chicken was brought in by Maersk Line. Joseph Stanley reports.
This 40-feet container contained expired chickens to be disposed at the Bome dump site. This, according to the Director of Environmental Health and Sanitation Directorate, Dr. Ansumana Sila. The chickens had gone bad at Waterkey, so they thought it fit to dispose of them, as it is not good for human consumption.
This chicken here, where they don't come with, now chicken where they don't boil. And where they don't boil, we don't want anybody eat them. Because the person eats this kind of chicken here, he must get disease, he must sick. Now we mandate this, we don't publicate more, we protect the health of the public. Because if this kind of go to market, people they begin eat and they begin sick, then go say Ministry of Health will not do work. And this is part of your mandate for make sure say you protect the public. Anybody can take this now criminal offense. Because if they can, let them not buy in hand. If police catch them in a criminal offense, because they are with the drive for the square, so that nobody knows where happened.
Despite the advice by Dr. Sila, the situation got out of hands due to the lack of enough security personnel during the process, as residents in the area and its immediate environs overran the security personnel and started cutting away the chickens. Assistant Superintendent of Police says the lack of proper planning resulted to the stampede.
This is not rest on security, because security they are just provide information to them, then what to check the what actually happened, the case rests with Masada. And they get a contract, they get a machine, they can dig, make sure that they dig, they go for actually very big. But what they do now, just shallow go like that. As they start from dump the chicken, a few they don't fall. So all the other chicken are not to dump them, just for exposed. So now based on that, I believe Masada has the own part of the assignment. We actually security with the full force for make sure that this process will go on that.
The principal environmental health officer expressed dissatisfaction over the process and urged residents in the western area not to buy chicken in the market.
But it was very disappointing with Masada. We don't wear come that the dump site for can destroy, and people they don't manage for take some back to the community. The one where they go to market, where they go for go buy. Any chicken where they miss them pack for auction, let them not buy. The one where they go buy cookery, we say chicken there, let them avoid for a few weeks there, because I don't say no go to take long.
SLBC News, Joseph Stanley reporting.
The Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Food Security has identified 52 out of the 193 agricultural business centers as viable ones to work with. According to the Minister of Agriculture, Professor Monty Jones, his ministry cannot effectively and efficiently run the 193 ABCs at the moment. Francis Danemel filed in this report, read by David Patrick Kamara.
That the majority of the ABCs are not functioning. The Ministry of Agriculture has been constantly working to ensure efficiency in their operation. In several television and radio programs, the Ministry of Agriculture had always defended that only few ABCs are not properly functioning. The press conference proved the findings to SLBC to be correct, as only 52 has been taken for efficiency and effective management. The Minister of Agriculture, Forestry and Food Security, Professor Monty Jones, informed the journalists that his ministry wants to change the ABCs into cooperation and ensure farmers move from subsistent to commercial farming.
Our farmers actually deserve this. Our people deserve this. The country, the government desire this. So please pass on this message to our people.
The ABCs, according to him, will be a learning center for farmers. Unite claims that donor funds were wasted in building the ABCs across the country. The other ABCs that were left out will be operated by the community people or private investors who wish to work with them. Interim Program Manager, Smallholder Commercialization Program, Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Food Security, Mohammed Ajmal Bati, informed journalists that an assessment was done before selecting the 52 ABCs in the country. He noted that best performing ABCs were selected. Coordinator, Strategic Advisory Unit, Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Food Security, Khalil Jah, said 4 ABCs were selected from every district, which sums up to 52. He reaffirms his ministry's commitment to ensure the selected ABCs function effectively and efficiently.
The Director, Decentralization Secretariat, Hassan Kanu, has said councils are not maintaining their ratings over the years and instead they are deteriorating. He was speaking at the Comprehensive Local Government Performance Assessment of the 19 councils in the country. This year's assessment saw Makeni City Council emerging first, followed by Tonkolili. Lauren Kaloko reports.
Decentralization is critical towards the effective transformation of the country's economy and the establishment of peace, stability and sustainable development. For the past 12 years now, the Decentralization Secretariat in Sierra Leone has been working to promote good governance, democracy, inclusiveness and the improvement of service delivery of our local people. However, the 2015 Comprehensive Local Government Performance Assessment System saw non-performing councils doing well, whilst performing councils before doing poorly, as 5 councils were categorized below average performance. 3 councils ranked worst performers. Makeni City Council ranked first on all the ratings, whilst Tonkolili ranked second and the Kenema and Koinadugu district councils ranked third, respectively. The assessment of the 19th local councils was conducted by a private firm on management practices, compliance with regulations, performance, and implementing development programs. It is expected that the assessment will help weak councils to learn from the strong councils, at the same time help to fill the gaps in capacity building and create links for effective service delivery. The Executive Director of Decentralization Secretariat, Alassane Kanu, says that in 2006, they introduced the Comprehensive Local Government Performance Assessment System using existing structures to improve on service delivery and to gauge the performance of local councils.
As the results will reveal later, I personally appears a bit disappointed, because after 12 years of implementation of this process, we expect that we should be improving from year to year. And it is the expectation that councils that have performed extremely well will continue to maintain that level of performance. But when you see councils that you at one time classed as best performing councils, then you see their performances begin to deteriorate or decline, then it becomes a concern.
Informs that assessment is done yearly, but due to the Ebola outbreak in 2014, they could not hold it, adding that the 2015 assessment also look at the activities of 2014. Mr. Kanu notes that over the years, they have realized that the 19 councils' performance varies, which is why they are advising them to work assiduously. The Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Maya Kaikai, spoke about efforts made by the government to improve on local councils, which is a clear manifestation in building their capability and the quantum of funds disbursed to local councils. He adds that despite the progress made, there are challenges such as the deteriorating staff dynamics, as some of them are quitting their jobs because of the poor environment and conditions of service. Entering memorandum of understanding with NGOs without approval of the ministry and not taking advantage of peer learning and experience sharing. He calls on all development partners, especially the World Bank and the European Union, to continue to support all decentralization programs, as his leadership has the requisite policy and oversight to advance the decentralization process.
The World Bank EU-funded DSDP2, which has been instrumental in seeing us reach this far, is coming to an end in December this year. The need for additional financing to ensure that the gains already made are not eroded, but consolidated needs not to be overemphasized. It is in this direction that on behalf of my president, your president, and our president, His Excellency the President, Dr. Ernest Microban, that I am requesting the World Bank to consider very seriously providing additional financing for our program through the DSDP2.
Mr. Kaikai assures that the government will continue to support the implementation of the comprehensive local government performance assessment system as a performance management tool and will complete its routine monitoring to ensure effective service delivery. The mayor of the Makeniti Council, Sunkari Kaba, says that they emerge first due to the adherence to the laid-down procedures and hard work, promising to maintain their rating in the next coming years.
A week-long biosafety and security training for military personnel has ended. The training, which took place at the Hub Hotel Wilberforce, was supported by the U.S. Embassy, the Global Scientific Solutions Center, and Center for Disease Control. Judith Sana reports.
The training will help these military personnel to understand steps taken in response to emergencies like biological or chemical spills. The United States Defense Attaché, Lieutenant Colonel Kimberly Lee, explains the importance of the training in improving the health sector of the military, as well as building the capacity of personnel. She expresses appreciation for the cooperation of the personnel to acquire more knowledge in health-related issues. The commanding officer, Joint Medical Unit, 34 Military Hospital, Colonel Professor Fodesa, applauds the United States Embassy for the opportunity provided to the military in improving the laboratory in the Army. He assures the U.S. Defense Attaché that knowledge gain will be put into consideration, noting that the emphasis after the Ebola outbreak is biosafety. The program was climaxed with the distribution of certificates. Judith Sana, SABC News R.
The National Commission for Social Action, NACSA, has held a community mobilization meeting with community stakeholders in Masingbi in the Tonkolili district. The meeting focused on the implementation of the second phase of the Sierra Leone Community-Driven Development Project, GITREG. Sentu Kanhu sent in this report.
Briefing community people in Mashingbi Township, the Commissioner of NACSA, Ali Badara Mansare, noted that improving on community and stakeholders' awareness on the components of the project in order to prevent elite capture. This, he went on, is one of the essential ingredients for securing successful implementation. The paramount chief of Konike Chiefdom, Honorable Baiku Kanagbaro Sanka III, pledged on behalf of his people to uphold government's development strides at all times. Honorable Mabinti Fofana and Council Chairman for the Tonkolili District also pledged their support to ensure that the desired outputs of the project are achieved. In another development, NACSA Commissioner has held its first board meeting at Radio Bintumani Conference Hall in Kabala Town. The board chair, Honorable Legosi Sanko, noted that NACSA has been recognized as one of the performing institutions in the country and that the board is required to perform its statutory responsibilities to ensure that the commission continues to deliver. Members of the board were appreciative of the level of achievements recorded by the commission for the first 6 months and entreated the NACSA team to maintain the momentum and professionalism demonstrated in the delivery of services to the poor. NACSA Commissioner Ali Badara Mansare, who doubles as secretary, provided highlights on the proceedings of last meeting, status updates on programs, implementation, financial management, and administration reports for the period January to June 2016.
The National Commission for Children, with support from the government, Plan International and other donor partners, has launched its 3-year strategic plan at the Hill Valley Hotel in Freetown. The plan was launched by the chairman of the Parliamentary Oversight Committee on Social Welfare, Gender and Children's Affairs, Honorable Hassan Sise. Let's join Judith Sanor again.
The strategic plan will enable the Commission identify key priorities for children within its mandated functions, its approaches and expected outcomes for the next 3 years. The plan will also foster an enabling environment in promoting the rights of children in the country. The country director, Plan International, Kesley Ato Coleman, says Plan International has been providing girl-child education and supporting girls' advocacy and leadership programs focusing on ending child marriage, teenage pregnancy, and sexual violence in schools and tertiary institutions. Mr. Coleman says Plan International will be one of the leading partners to National Commission for Children in ensuring that they create the safe environment for all children. The Commissioner, National Commission for Children, Olayinka Laga, informs that the National Commission for Children was established by an Act of Parliament in 2014 under the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. She adds that the Commission started operations in 2015 and its work largely involves monitoring, collaboration and coordination. The Commissioner, National Commission for Children, highlights the expected outcomes and activities of the new strategic plan.
Well, we have 5 main outcomes, and one of these outcomes, the first one has to do with more legislation, better legislations and policies for children, either having those existing laws reviewed or harmonized, and also developing new policies for children, and also monitoring the effectiveness of these laws that have been previously developed. Then the second outcome has to do with coordination, better coordination amongst agencies dealing with children.
She expresses gratitude to the government for support to the National Commission for Children, Plan International and other donor partners. The Commissioner calls for collaborative efforts in protecting the rights of children in the country. Social Welfare Ministry Parliamentary Oversight Committee Chairman, Honorable Hassan Sise, while launching a strategic plan, affirms government fullest support to the National Commission for Children. He assures that Parliament will ensure that the laws of children are strengthened. Director of Children's Affairs, Ministry of Social Welfare, Gender and Children's Affairs, emphasizes on awareness raising and the enforcement of the Child Rights Act. She registers their commitment in supporting the National Commission for Children in promoting the rights of the child. Chairman, Human Rights Commission, Brahma Sherif, says the protection of the child is part of mandates of the Human Rights Commission. He calls for collaborative effort in ensuring children's rights are protected. A child, Eugenia Rogers, advocating for children, calls on government to provide quality education for all children to combat some of the problems faced by children, such as early marriage, child labor, and enforcement of the laws in the Child Rights Act.
The new Chief Executive Officer of Orange Mobile Company has said his company will retain staff that worked under Airtel. He made this statement during a courtesy call on the Minister of Communications. Claudius Beckley sent in this report, read in the studios by Princess Gibson.
Addressing the minister, the Chief Executive Officer, Sekou Darami, says his visit is to acquaint himself with the ministry as a new head of Orange Mobile Company in the country. He says the company operates in 9 countries. Mr. Darami commended staff of Airtel, pointing out that the company rely on the expertise of the local staff for continuity and development of the company and country. Outgoing Airtel manager Oladipo Olasipi said the exit of Airtel will ensure transition to a bigger entity Sierra Leone will benefit from. He added that as a commitment, Orange will leverage on what the government has already done in the fiber optic project, pointing out that with the installation of fiber optic cable, the quality of service will improve. Information Minister Mohamed Bangura says that as a government, they look forward to the expansion of the company, particularly in the area of corporate social responsibility. He says ensuring corporate social responsibilities will help complement government strides in the communication sector.
Presidential spokesman Abdoulaye Beiti has said the visit of the president to the Kingdom of Morocco will enhance further diplomatic ties between the two countries. Mr. Beiti was speaking at the weekly press conference hosted by the Ministry of Information and Communications. Abdul Sansise reports.
Presidential spokesman Abdoulaye Beiti informed journalists that the outcome of the regional consultations during the recent African Union Summit also gave rise to President Nkrumah as a chairperson of the AU Committee of 10 to continue to hold high-level discussions with other AU members for the retention of a permanent seat in the United Nations Security Council. According to Abdoulaye Beiti, Morocco is the 6th largest economy in Africa. Also at the press briefing, the Marketing and Public Relations Manager at the Sierra Leone Road Transport Corporation, SLRTC, Mohamed Zoka, gave a rundown of the operational activities of the SLRTC. Mr. Zoka told journalists that the SLRTC was established by an Act of Parliament in 1964 with a mandate to provide and maintain public transport system. He said that on the 7th of July last year, President Nkrumah invested a huge sum of money for the procurement of some 100 buses to facilitate the problem of transportation across the country.
We deem it necessary to update the people of this country on how these 100 buses are run, because it is the interest of each and every one of us in Sierra Leone to know how this government investment is run. It is, therefore, the concern of management to always brief you on how these 100 buses have fared on for this 1 year.
He maintained that the pilot project by the SLRTC that was engaged with the ABC Secretariat was a success. For SLBC News Freedom, Abdul Samsise reporting.
The Health Education Manager in the Ministry of Health and Sanitation, Lansana Conte, has said Sierra Leone is ranked 8th in Africa with high smoking population. He made a statement during an orientation of media practitioners on the prevention and control of tobacco. Joseph Stanley reports.
Addressing newsmen, Mr. Conte disclosed that Sierra Leone is ranked 8th with high number of smoking population, of which male is 70% and female about 63%. He maintained that tobacco kills up to half of its users and that nearly 80% of the world 1 billion smokers live in low-income countries, including Sierra Leone. He referred to the tobacco epidemic as one of the biggest public health threats the world has ever faced, and that majority of smokers live in low and middle income countries where the burden of tobacco-related illness and deaths is heavy. The health education manager informed newsmen that passive smoking also claims the lives of many people and that there is no safe level of exposure to passive tobacco smoke. Mr. Lansana Conte pointed out that the situation in the country needs to be addressed and that the Ministry of Health and Sanitation and partners are working hard to help salvage the situation by engaging communities on the adverse effects of tobacco. He said surveillance and monitoring are key in tracking the extent and character of the tobacco epidemic and indicates how best to tailor policies. The WHO Health Information Advisor Aminata Kobe revealed that the WHO is fighting the global epidemic through its Framework Convention on Tobacco Control that is one of the most widely embraced treaties in the history of the United Nations. She added that the convention is WHO's most important tobacco control tool and a milestone in the promotion of public health. An interactive session formed part of the orientation. SLBC News Joseph Stanley reporting.
The National Electoral Commission, NEC, has taken members of Parliament to the Geographic Information Systems Lab to witness the draft document of the boundary delimitation process. The meeting gives parliamentarians the opportunity to have first-hand information on the stages of the boundary delimitation exercise. The GIS lab is situated at the Statistics Sierra Leone headquarters in Freetown. David Patrick Kumar reports.
Welcoming the parliamentarians, the Director of Operations, NEC, Philip Kagbo, said the meeting is to introduce MPs to the draft mapping of the boundary delimitation. Mr. Kagbo added that the process will prepare MPs for subsequent meetings with the constituency stakeholders. Mr. Kagbo admonished the MPs that this is not the final map of the delimitation process, as the law requires stakeholders to make an input in meetings that will be held at a time that will be communicated to the MPs and their constituencies. Taking the MPs through the draft mapping, Pamela Bokari, staff of the Geographic Information System, explained about the new boundary delimitation and proposed new constituencies. Albert Masakoy is the Director of Media and External Relations, NEC.
This is a demonstration of the Commission's openness with regards its activities. We are all at Statistics Sierra Leone because this is where the GIS lab is located, the Geographic Information Systems lab, and this is where we do the physical mapping out of the constituency and ward boundaries. Because we are doing boundaries delimitation and we are doing these activities, we thought it fit that members of parliament who are the beneficiaries of these maps, when they would have been transformed into constituencies, then they should come and actually do a physical verification. They go through the process, we take them along so that they can understand what these maps are and how the boundaries are being labeled, so that at the end of the day they are able to note how these locations are actually being planned or rather put into maps.
Most of the MPs were eager to see maps of their constituency boundaries. Honorable Suleiman Sise is the Member of Parliament for Constituency 33. He said he appreciates the process so far, as his constituency was among the biggest constituencies, but after the delimitation, his constituency will be reduced.
For me, in Constituency 33, I'm satisfied with the process. My constituency of 33 is going to be Constituency 38. I had 3 chiefdoms. Now it's only going to be concentrated on 2 chiefdoms, Sada Tedaran and Pati Kamranka. So I'm not crossing over to Sada Loco anymore. So to me, I'm a happy man. Okay. My constituency was too big, from one end to the other. So to me, it's okay.
The Deputy Minister of Information and Communications, Cornelius Devoe, has launched the Girls Education Challenge Project Handbook at a ceremony held at Corner Lodge, Signal Hill in Freetown. The booklet provides an insight into Girls Education Challenge program in Sierra Leone and shared anecdotes and stories of transformation. The launching ceremony targeted donors, implementing partners, and pupils from different schools. Hawama Siri reports.
The booklet provides an insight into the Girls Education Challenge program in Sierra Leone. The Deputy Minister of Information and Communication, Cornelius Devoe, applauds Plan Sierra Leone for supporting girl child education across the country. He informed the gathering that government is working with key partners, including Plan Sierra Leone, in promoting girl child education.
President Kojo reinforced the APC government's commitment to the furtherance of girl child education in this country. Sierra Leone, like many other countries in Africa and other parts of the world, is confronted with the issues circumventing girls' empowerment. But government's commitment to addressing the challenges that encumber the aspirations of the girl child remains undiluted, as girls' empowerment is intrinsically linked to the successful implementation of the Agenda for Prosperity and the attainment of key sustainable development goals. President Kojo reinforced the APC government's commitment to the furtherance of girl child education in this country. Sierra Leone, like many other countries in Africa and other parts of the world, is confronted with the issues circumventing girls' empowerment. But government's commitment to addressing the challenges that encumber the aspirations of the girl child remain.
This project is a very important project, like my elder sister said. It's an investment. When you invest in girls, you invest in your nation. And therefore, I will end by thanking everybody for coming, thanking the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology for their leadership and support, thanking UK DFID for the support, and all our partners, IRC, Farware, Handicap International, Open University, and all of you gathered here for your continuous support to Plan. I can assure you that as far as I continue to become director of Plan, girls' education is going to be my #1 priority, and that is where our funds will go.
It's undiluted, as girls' empowerment is intrinsically linked to the successful implementation of the Agenda for Prosperity and the attainment of key sustainable development goals.
Country Director of Plan Sierra Leone, Casey Atto-Kuhlman, highlights that the Girls Education Challenge project is funded by UK Aid, led by Plan International, with International Rescue Committee.
The 7th Joint Coordinating Committee meeting of the Comprehensive District Community Development Project has been held at the conference hall of the Local Government Ministry. The meeting provides an opportunity for JICA and government to review the progress of the implementation of the project. Abdul Samsise reports.
The meeting, jointly organized by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development in conjunction with the Japanese International Cooperation Agency JICA, attracted participants from the Local Government Ministry, Chairman of Local Council, Senior Representative of JICA from Ghana, and senior officials at the Decentralization Secretariat. The senior representative of JICA from Ghana expressed appreciation for the successful implementation of the community development project in the country. Mr. Nohito called on every Sierra Leonean to participate in the project despite the invasion of Ebola and the rebel war, which he said immensely affected the activities of their Japanese expats in the country. Delivering the keynote address, the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Maya Kaikai, said that the joint coordinating meeting provides an overall review of the project activities and financial position. The Minister of Local Government, Maya Kaikai, informed the meeting that the response so far received from the development partners is encouraging. He called for an effective collaboration of beneficiaries and the development partners. Mr. Kakai also highlighted huge investment into the project and its comprehensive review by government.
In the CDCD project, which is gearing towards community development, helping the community, building the capacity of people, building the capacity of councils. And this other phase is going to be implemented from resume January next year, but the planning stage will start now. That's why we have today signed the joint communique agreement between JICA and my ministry, because my ministry is solely responsible for monitoring and evaluation oversight role to ensure that the funds provided are used in the manner expected of the Japanese people, because the funds are the Japanese taxpayers' money, so it behoves on us as a country.
Since 2009, JICA has been a major player in the implementation of the community development project in Potloko and Cambia district. In 2016 to 2018, the project will focus on the northern region and target beneficiaries with extension to focal partners like Potloko, Cambia, Bombali, and Tonkolole district councils. The signing and presentation of the project in Potloko and Cambia district council form a high point of the 7th joint coordinated meeting of the local government ministry and JICA. For SLBC News, Abdul Samsuse reporting.
Now to end news, a quick look at the main points again. The Ministry of Health and Sanitation has warned the public not to eat the rotten chicken that were dumped at the Bome dump site. The Chief Executive Officer of Orange Mobile Company has assured the Minister of Communications that his company will retain workers of Airtel. And the Ministry of Agriculture has disclosed that only 52 out of the 193 agricultural business centers are viable for investment. Well, that's all in this edition of News Hour. On behalf of the news team, the editor, Asmi Uba, I am Kojo Qwafor. For more information about the program, so send us an email to contact us at slbc.sl. Thanks for watching. Good night.